Hey everyone, this is Robin from Designhill and your host for the day. I hope you and your family are keeping well and safe. I would like to welcome you for this session where we are going to talk about the superpower of good habits. Today's event is brought to you by Designhill, world's leading creative marketplace that caters to the creative needs of businesses and individuals alike who can source high quality designs from professional designers and buy unique products created by independent artists. So, moving ahead, let me introduce our speaker for today. We have with us Silvia Dal Borgo. Sylvia spent more than 20 years in the manufacturing industry and has a background in economics. After this long corporate journey, she has now recently started her own training business. She now helps professionals become more efficient in their activities and more knowledgeable in wine. Hi, Sylvia. Would you like to say a quick hi to our audience?
Yes, hello, Robin, and hello, everybody. Thanks for joining us here today, and thank you, Design Hill, for giving the opportunity and this space to be together.
Great. So, guys, before we start the session, here is the big announcement. We are giving away certificates to all the attendees, but for that, you would have to stick till the very end. So, brace yourself and stay tuned till the very end. All right. So, before we start the session, let's quickly look at what Design Hill is all about.
The thing I love about filmmaking is that it's collaborative, that every part of the process you have to invite and bring in a team of people to share your vision with. I love that you can have an idea, you can write a script, but in order to make any type of film, you need at least one to hundreds of other people. New in Jersey is a television show that I've been working on for the past year. I've always wanted to make New Jersey what Stephen King made Maine, and tell these really weird small stories in New Jersey. When you're pitching a show or a movie, it's really important to take that time and make what you're presenting feel real and authentic. I was looking for design materials that can help explain my vision and help brand what I'm trying to sell. So I used Designhill's logo maker, and it was super easy. They asked me a couple questions, I answered them, and then I picked from a handful of designs that I liked certain aesthetics about. And then within a few seconds, I had tons of options to mix and match and choose from. It was really easy. When you're pitching a show, you don't always have your budget worked out. For me, this was an awesome option. Designhill's logo maker was really affordable, so I don't have to put a ton of money in, and I get the assets that I need to make my job easier and more successful. In addition to the logo, they also offer things like t-shirts, business cards, and social media kits. I can honestly say that thanks to Design Hill, I now have the assets and materials I need to go into a meeting and feel my best.
All right. That was all about Design Hill, and now we are all set to start the session. We will take up questions during the session. So, guys, if you have anything to ask to Sylvia, please drop them in the questions sections on your screen. Sylvia, now over to you. You can start presenting your screen.
Okay, thank you, Robin. I will start now sharing my screen. So let me know if you can see it. You should be able to see my screen now. Okay. So as Robin said, I'm a freelance trainer, and I train people about wine knowledge, and wine service on one hand. And on the other hand, I train people about time management and time management related subjects. So today we are going to talk about something very, very important, habits. and why habits are a true superpower we have in our hands. So I would like to start with a question to you. Would you please tell me what is a habit to you? You can type it in the chat. How would you define a habit? Let me know what is your definition or what you think when you think of a habit. Skills, knowledge, intuition. Habit is something that we do automatically. Yes. Yes, it's a default. Correct. Routine. Yes, that's correct. Let's wait for a couple of more comments from you. I see that there's so many people from all around the world. I'm so happy to see you. It's a routine we follow every day. Yeah, that's correct. The lazy way to do things. I wouldn't put it this way, Stefano, but anyway, I can see your point. I can see your point. Something which we do every day without thinking much if we have to do. Yeah, okay. I think you've taken the point. You are spot on. A habit is a behavior that has been repeated enough to become automatic. So it's something we no longer think about because it comes automatic, because we've repeated it. And that's a kind of precious characteristic of a habit, because this way habits give immediate solution to a problem. We don't have to think about the solution because it's an habit. We enter a dark room with which the light on. It's an habit. We don't pay attention to it, but we do it. It gives us a solution. And then they save energy. They save energy because we run them, our brain can master them without putting all the effort and all the processing into it. So this is why they're quite important and quite handy. Now, I would like to talk about a bit the importance of habit. I think you've heard of the compound effect. The compound effect is the effect that we get by repeating something over and over. So let me just for a second stop sharing my screen. So let's say we are here today. This is our starting point, and this is time, and this is the result. If we compound by 1% every day, we get better and better by 1%. In 1 year time, will be like here, and the same will happen in the other way. If we get worse by 1% every day, we'll end up here. And you see, just by 1% increase or decrease every day, the difference of result is huge. So here, just to make to mention a number, the result, if we start at 1, will be around 37, and here will be around 0. So you see, compound effect is extremely important, and by making very small and tiny actions every day, we could improve a lot and obtain the best version of ourselves. So this was the compound effect. Then another reason why habits are so important, it's because results come almost effortlessly. So we don't have to pay attention, as we mentioned before. And then, much more important than anything, through habits, we can shape our identity, because we are what we repeat. So if we repeat a virtuous behavior over and over and over again, we will improve and we will become the best version of ourselves. If we do the opposite, we will slide into the worst version of ourselves. So habits are extremely important, because every day, through tiny actions, we could move forward to our desired identity. So there is, as I mentioned, a direction towards the virtuous side, and also to the evil side, to the dark side. So we have to pay attention to what we do daily and what we repeat, because the results could be completely different. So now I would like to, just for fun, to to do a poll with you. So if you could take your phone, or open another tab on your browser. Okay, I'd like you to go to menti.com, www.menti.com, and be ready to type the code I will give you in a minute. And there will be a question. The question is, what do you find more difficult about habits? So if you are ready, I will give you the code. And the code is 36738511. I will put it in the chat as well for you to type in. So go there and answer to the question. I will do the same with you, and now I'll start sharing the results as you are typing in your results. Okay, you are answering now. You see, I see that 3 people find it difficult developing new habits. Some find it difficult to get rid of bad ones, and most of people to sticking to new habits. So to carrying on the same behavior every day, on and on. So let me just reply the same. Okay, so I think everybody has voted now. So yes, the majority is saying that the most difficult part is sticking daily. So being very consistent day after day. And I can see the point. I think it's quite difficult. But for all those people who voted, so for everybody, all of us, I think there's the good news is that there's a solution. So there's a framework we can use to improve in start new habits, ditch bad ones, and stick to the plan we've made, and daily continue with the good ones we've picked up. So the key of everything is a clear start, because what's important is to have a clear goal. Our goal shouldn't be to start a habit, a specific one. Our goal should be to think of the kind of person we want to become. So let's say, for instance, I want to become someone who is very active, healthy, and fit. Let's say this is the kind of person I want to become. So once we've decided, once we've figured out who we want to become, our future identity, we need to ask ourselves, what would that person be? What would that person do in their daily life? What kind of habits would that person have? So this way we could make a plan and break down our future identity, our future ideal identity, into small, tiny steps. For instance, if I want to be that kind of person, I would probably eat healthy food every day. I would probably, let's say, exercise 2 times or 3 times a week. I would probably go to sleep early or sleep 8 hours per night, and things like that. So through our future ideal identity, we need to break down small behaviors that we can carry out every day. So the goal is not to sleep 8 hours a day. The goal is to become healthier and fit. Okay. And another key is to start small to grow big. So we don't have to do everything today. We don't have to start all the good tiny habits that we have identified today and in their full scale. We need to identify them and plant a seed, and remember that every action we take, it's a vote towards that identity. Okay, so be aware that we will make mistakes, we will fail to carry on every single day our habits, but we need to use those mistakes to move forward and to design habits that work for us. So the plan is to be able to shape those habits in a way that we can stick to them. So to do that, we need to understand how behavior works. So why we act, why do we behave in a certain way or not. The mechanism is very important because once we've understood that, we know how to shape our habits and design them. So, first of all, for a behavior to take place, there must be a trigger. There must be that first spark that sends a message and prompts us towards something. Then, for the behavior to take place, there should be a desire, a motivation, a will to do something. And then the third step is that once we've had the trigger and the motivation, we should be able to perform that response. If we are able to perform that response, the behavior will take place. And then once the behavior takes place, we will have a feeling about it. We will feel good or bad about what we've just done. But the key is to understand that there must be a trigger, and then a motivation, a desire, an urge to act, and then an ability. We must be able to perform the response to those first two steps. Okay, so let's go to the first point, the trigger. If we want to start a new behavior, we want to start a new habit, we have to make it evident. So the trigger that spark that gives the start to the behavior must be evident, must be everywhere, must be simple to perform. So to do that, one thing that we could do is to shape the environment around us. So going back to the example I gave you before, if I want to become that person who is fit and lives a healthy life, I should shape the environment around me so that when I open my fridge, I find healthy food, healthier food than before. I should find it easy to find my jogging shoes and my jogging attire to go jogging. There should be in the environment clues to invite me to that behavior. The behavior I want to pursue should be made easy. One other thing we could do to trigger the virtuous behavior is to connect habits. And by that, I mean that, for instance, there's something we do every day. We come back from the office. And for instance, we should connect habits together and say, every day, as soon as I come back from work, I will change my shoes and go for a 15 minutes walk. So to connect something we are already doing, we are every day coming back from the office, to another action, so that this becomes automatic, as we said before, because habits have to be automatic. I come back from work and then I put my shoes on and go for a walk. Another point, another help we could do is to be very clear with our intention, not just mention someday I will go for a walk. We could say every Wednesday after work I will go for a 13 minutes run. Every Sunday I will make a healthy breakfast. I will cook myself a healthy breakfast. So once we want to start something, we need to be very specific about the what we want to start and about the when we want to start. And just the opposite, if we want to stop a bad habit, we should make invisible all the triggers, all the sparks that invite us to that behavior. So this is the first step of our behavior mechanism. And then I'll hand over to Robin for a couple of announcements, and then back to the 3 last steps.
Yes, Sylvia. So, all right, guys, I hope you guys are enjoying this session, and it's time for the mid roll. Before we move forward, I would like to give a quick shout out to Designhill, world's leading creative marketplace, for organizing this event. Stay tuned, and we will be right back to hear more from Sylvia.
I've always been creative and always been an artist. As a young girl, I used to paint rocks and I used to sell them for a quarter on the street. And I just fell in love with it. It just grew into a passion of mine. I started looking on the web and I came across Designhill, and they had a design contest to design a logo, and I entered it and I won. And I was like, oh, this is really great. I can pick and choose what type of logos or design projects I want to work on, and it allows me to be creative, keep my hands, with my tools and working, so it's kind of nice. It's really easy to use. You can scroll through the projects and there's sections that you could go by. It's really easy. There's a few clients who have come back to use the one-on-one projects, There's one client in particular, she owns a vintage shop, and I designed her logo, and she came back. She needed a design for a flyer, and she really liked the illustrations that I did for her, so she came back a couple of times with projects. I would recommend it, especially if you're a designer that's starting out and you want to learn from other designers, seasoned designers. It's a place to keep in the game and keep using your tools. It makes me feel great, and it kind of confirms that I should be doing this. And I love to see logos that I've designed out, and proud of that. And I think that the clients are so happy that their logo represents what they do and, you know, makes them look good. It's a collaboration. It's good for me, and it's definitely good for them.
All right. So we are back again. Let's continue with the session, Sylvia.
Sure. Okay. So we've seen the first step of the behavior mechanism, the trigger, and why the trigger should be made evident to help us in our behavior. So let's move to the second step, which is the motivation, the desire. The new behavior, the habit we've just started, should be attractive to us. So that's why we need to design our habits, because if we design something that is unattractive and painful to us, we're not likely to stick to it. So when we plan our habits, we should make an effort and find a way to plan something attractive, interesting, appealing to us. And one way to do that is to bundle, to put together what we want to do and what we need to do. So let's say that our need to do is our new habit, our new behavior, virtuous behavior. So we could, for instance, put together something we want to do. We want to visit a friend. We want to go shopping, for instance. And something we need to do, we need to be active. So let's say we need to, for instance, shape an habit saying, okay, I will go shopping, or I will visit my friend, I will go to take a coffee, but I will go on foot. I will not take my car. Or I will take my car to the city center, and then we'll walk together for a nice walk in the park. So bundle together, put together something you want to do with something you need to do to make the action attractive and pleasant, let's say. Another step we could take to have motivation and desire towards good habits is to surround yourself with the right people. If you want to be more active, as in my example, and you want to be fit, it's easier if you start hanging out also with those people who share the same interest, share the same culture. So that could be another way to help us develop and stick to a virtuous behavior, to a virtuous good habit. And then another way could be to create a ritual, a nice routine that we like. So we could, for instance, every Saturday or Friday evening, after our 5 days, 5-day week is over, we could have a gathering with friends and go with them for a walk and then have a light dinner all together. Or we could go on Saturday morning to the market and buy healthy food from local producers and then cook a nice meal at home with healthy food. So create something repetitive, ritual that gives us pleasure to make this new habit, new behavior attractive. And just the opposite, if we want to ditch something bad, a bad habit, we should find a way to make it unattractive. This works differently for all of us, so we have to take some time and design those habits the way we are shaped to make them work for us. So there's no one rule for everybody. We should take some time and design our new habit to start new one and to break bad ones. Then we go to the third step, which is the ability. If a behavior is if we are able to perform a behavior, if the behavior is easy, we are more likely to perform it. So if something is very simple for us to do and there is no effort, the action will take place. So every time we need to start and promote something that's good for us and that's linked to the good and virtuous self picture and new identity we have for us in the future, we should make those actions as easy as possible. No effort should be needed. So, for instance, we should have our running shoes clean and ready if we want to go for a walk. We should have the fridge full of nice and healthy food for us to cook and to prepare, let's say, lunch for the next day in the office. So reduce whenever possible the effort needed to perform the habit, the good habit. And then focus on the key steps and the key moment. For instance, if I know that I'm not going to cook lunch for the following day, if I arrive home too late at night the day before, then that's a key moment, because if I know that if I arrive home too late, I won't be able to cook, then it's a key moment to arrive early enough to cook meal and bring it to the office the following day. Or it's a key moment to be aware that I won't be able to do that, but maybe I will be able to walk to the following day to a cafe and have a salad with a friend. So the virtuous behavior should be planned and should be easy. We need to be very aware of what is inviting us to do our habit and what is not. Again, we should start small, because if we start too big, we will start failing and we will be discouraged. So always start small and repeat, and repeat. So it's at the beginning, especially, is more important to keep repeating the virtuous behavior rather than performing it in a perfect way. So if I want to walk every day 30 minutes or 20 minutes, it's not important that I manage to walk every day 20 minutes or 30 minutes. If one day I have the choice between not going at all because I know I won't be able to walk for 30 minutes, and the other choice is, okay, I go, but I will be able to walk for 10 minutes only. Let's go and walk 10 minutes only, because it helps us shape that new identity of ours. So it moves us towards the direction of the person that we want to become. So start small and focus on showing up, on repeating the virtuous behavior, even if it's not perfect. it's not all or nothing. There are shades of gray in between. So use that shades of gray with the picture in your mind of that future idea and identity you want to turn into. And then whenever possible, we can also use technology to automate and to remind us things. So it should, we could set an alarm to say, okay, go and buy salad and fruit for tomorrow's lunch, or remember to clean your jogging t-shirt and shoes. Use technology whenever you can to automate and make behaviors as easy as possible. And like in the other two cases, in case we want to interrupt something, we should make it difficult. If we want to stop eating chocolate, we should hide the bowl of candies and chocolate that's on the table of the living room. Make it difficult, make it put it out of reach. Don't buy when you finish. Make that bad behavior you want to break difficult to pursue. So this is also very important. And then we go to the last step of our behavior formation, which is the feeling. If we want to develop a new behavior, we have to make it satisfying, because if we develop something that is making us feel dissatisfied, unhappy, again, we're not likely to stick to it and follow it day by day. So the new habit, the new behavior should be designed in a way to be satisfying. So you should reward yourself every time you complete your good habit. If you went successfully for your 30 minutes run, then you should reward yourself with something you like. You could enjoy a movie on Netflix, or you could ask your best friend out for a coffee or a light drink, or pair everything you need to do as a habit with something that will say, okay, well done, do it again, because there's a reward after your virtuous behavior. Then another way to make those behaviors satisfying is to measure the progress you are making. So to track the records. The easiest way is to have a tracker and write down the habit you are going to start or you are performing, and every day you make it, every day you succeed, you mark it down, you cross on the day, mark and track your progress, because once we make progress, once we see we are making progress, we feel more satisfied. And once we feel more satisfied, then we are more likely to pursue that habit, that behavior, and perform it again. And then another point is to stay on track and don't break the chain. As we said, it's more than likely that we will miss one appointment with our habit. It's human, we are all human, so the point is not to be unbreakable and never miss. What's important is to try to stay on track, and as we said, don't break the chain, because if we miss once, that's fine. If we miss twice and if we get sloppy, then we are starting a new habit, one habit on the bad side. So rather than the 30 minutes run or nothing, 15 minutes run is fine, 10 minutes run is fine. So even 5 minutes fast walk is better than nothing. So stay on track, don't break the chain, and always keep in mind that identity you want to shape your life around. The same goes for breaking bad behaviors. We should make them unsatisfying. So we should shape the environment and our actions so that the behaviors we want to ditch become unsatisfying. For instance, if we let's say promised that we would not eat chocolate or eat fat food to someone, and then we fail to keep that promise, this is somehow unsatisfying. It's a bad feeling. So, for instance, involving other people, making promises, asking other people's support could be a way to make things satisfying or unsatisfying on the other hand. So this was the 4 step process for behavior formation, and I would like to go quickly through it again before we conclude and move to the Q&A session. So the process goes like this. First of all, we have to define a goal. We do not have to focus on habits we want to start. We have to focus on the kind of person we want to become. I want to become someone who's very knowledgeable on finance. I don't know, just for instance, or someone very active and fit. We need to set that, and the goal should be very clear to us. Then we have to make a plan. We have to break down that identity we have in our mind, thinking of what kind of action that person would take in their daily life to stick to that identity. So what kind of behaviors would that kind of person have? So once we've made that, we should use the framework. So we should identify the tiny habits that we should start and perform, and use the framework to build them. So we should make them evident, we should make them attractive, easy to happen, and we should make them satisfying. This way, the new habits, the new behaviors we've started will stick, and we will be able to perform them over and over again. Again, very, very important, do not start big. Never, ever. Always start small and then grow big. Because starting small, it's easy, it's safe, you can adjust, there's no risk involved. Start small, find the right habit, design the right habit, and then be consistent. Start small to grow big. And please avoid always self-criticism, because it's not really a matter of motivation, of will. It's more a matter of designing habits and planning them the right way. Okay, so keep in mind, habits are a true superpower in our hands, because through habits, through small, daily, effortless actions, we can shape our future, and we can shape our identity and become the best version of ourselves. So this is the conclusion of my small talk. There was a lot to say, but I tried to condense everything. This is the small list of books you could make reference to if you're interested in the subject. They're all very nice to read, so have a look if you are interested. And also, another way to know more about habits and about time management is to stay in touch with me. And for instance, to join my free newsletter here. So if you want to get free materials and get access to any free event I perform, join my newsletter and stay in touch. If you like, also you can drop me a line, and I would very happy to read you and to reply to your emails. I don't know if the link of the newsletter popped up. In case it didn't.
Sylvia, we would be sharing that in a while. So,
Okay.
yeah. So I think you are done with the presentation. And Sylvia, we have still 12 minutes to go before we
Yes.
end the event. We
Yeah.
have a lot of questions in the questions section. So if you
Okay.
could come on the questions section and start picking up the questions. So we can pick up from the bottom, or the questions which are received most upvotes. So we have a question from Snehata Mitra.
Yes.
She's asking, at times we feel very overwhelmed by the complexities of life. How can we simplify to get where you want to be?
That's a very good question, and I feel you, Mitra. So I think a very good way to start with is to focus on our goals, meaning that we need to work out what's a priority to us. So we don't have space and room for everything and for everybody. So we need to be very clear about what we want more of in our lives and what we want to focus on. So complexity is something we have to deal with for sure, but we need to try and simplify by finding out priorities and sorting out things that matter most to us.
Great, great. So Sylvia, we can pick up the next question.
Yeah.
Yes.
The meaning of make it invisible, is it mean that everyone in our environment should not know that we are no, make it invisible refers to the fact that if you want to stop a bad habit, every trigger towards that bad habit, every spark that invites you towards that bad habit should be made invisible. So if you want to start something that's good for you, you should find a cue and signals everywhere in your environment. Instead, if you want to stop doing something, there should be no cues, no invitation in your environment to do so. So if you want to reduce the time you spend on your mobile phone, then once you arrive at home, I'm just making an example, you should stow away your mobile phones and leave it out of sight. Because if it's on the table and you see the light or the ding of the notification ringing, you will be tempted to go and check. Instead, if you make it invisible, if you stow it away, you won't be tempted. That's what I meant by make it invisible. Hide the signals, hide the triggers that invite you to a bad habit. How do we make an unpleasant habit for us desirable? and be motivated to finish it. Okay, so you could think, for instance, to the reasons why you are doing that. Because if you are doing that to become a doctor or someone knowledgeable, or to have a better position tomorrow, to earn more money, to be able to do what you like more. So again, studying is just a means towards something else. So if you're studying, but you're not studying because you want to reach something specific that's important for you, then it's difficult to make studying interesting. But if you're studying and you just find it very hard, then but you do have a final aim, a final goal, then you should, like, for instance, study in a nice environment, maybe in the park, maybe study with a friend, maybe find a different way to study. Maybe you don't like reading a book, you like listening to videos. So work around the study and twist it so that even if it's unpleasant in one form, it could become more pleasant in another form. And always keep in mind why you are studying. You're studying to do something, to become something in your future version. Christina, that was for you. And then Ave Septia, sorry if I'm mispronouncing anybody's name, is asking, I would like to ask about how to prompt the habit into subconscious mind. Well, habits become habits. I think, if I'm getting the question right, how do you automate? How it becomes automatic, right? It becomes automatic once you repeat, and then you don't think about it. So you have to build it from really tiny blocks and then repeat and stick to it. So sometimes we don't even know why and how we picked up a habit, but it takes time. So for instance, so for sure you can't start a habit and say it's a habit in a week, but you can every day vote towards a specific direction. So by repeating small actions every day that go to all towards the same direction, you plant a seed that will grow then into something subconscious and automatic, and it will become part of you. It will become part of who you are. It will not be just an action you perform. It will sink in, and it will be part of you. Okay, and then Christina says that she got the reply from another slide. Okay, and then I missed the presentation due to family issues. I would love to know if there'll still be a recording. I think there will be a recording, and then Monique, or if anybody is interested, they can email me and drop me an email, and I will be able and I will be more than happy to answer any questions you may have.
Yes. And yes, Monique, you will receive the recording on your email after the session. And also you can visit our YouTube channel, Designhill, to see all our previous sessions and this session there. So I think, Sylvia, we are good to go. We are done with questions. And
Okay.
yes, it was a
Yeah,
great presentation.
I just
And
wanted to thank you, Robin. Thank you, Designhill, and thank you everybody attending. and also for the questions, all very clever questions. And I think they show the interest for the subject. So really, thank you, everybody. Do get in touch if you wish to know more, and I will be more than happy to connect. Thank you, everybody.
Great, great, great. So, all right, guys, this brings us to the end of this wonderful workshop with Sylvia. Although there, although we could have learned more, unfortunately, we are limited by time here. So, I hope you guys love this session. Once again, I would like to thank you, Sylvia, to be a part of this event and taking out time from her busy schedule. All right, guys, this is not where it ends. We have a lot more events lined up for you. So don't forget to check out our events page designhill.com/events. And to watch this session and other wonderful sessions, subscribe to our official YouTube channel, Design Hill. And for all the designers and artists who are listening to this and wish to be a part of thriving design community, visit designhill.com. On that note, I would like to say bye to everyone who joined us here today. Take care, guys, and stay safe.